Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Game Design Archive with Edward and Ludwig.
Hello.
Hello, Ludwig. Today, we are going to talk about, we're going to talk about multiplayer games and PVPVE.
Yes. So, PVPVE games, they're the fresh, new, trendy thing to do, which isn't actually quite new because Tarkov did it like 10 years ago or something. But there's been a lot of extraction shooters and stuff like that releasing recently. We have Arc Raiders and we have Marathon this week. Oof. And I guess to start off and be kind of blunt, we are not a very big fan of these kinds of games. And that is mainly due to the, as you mentioned, PVPVE element of it. So
I want to point out a big difference, though.
Yes,
compared
go ahead.
to, since we're very negative in general, I guess. Or, I mean, I don't view it that way, but I feel like a lot of people think that we are, at least, right? So I just want to clarify something, that this is not the same. I mean, obviously, everything is subjective, so that's clear first, right? But, for example, for some genres, we have expressed very strong, opinions as in, no, they're actually harmful or whatever, right? They're just actively bad, right? And that's not, right? PvPvE games are not.
Yeah.
By their, we're not disinterested or whatever you say in English in them because they are, we think they're bad in the same way, right? As, for example, MMORPGs or something, right?
Yeah.
Just just to clarify that, right? So that they, in theory, could be more interesting, right?
Yeah. It's more that they, in our opinion, don't work from a game design point of view, I guess, rather than them being like.
I mean, maybe they do,
harmful.
but there is missing pieces.
Yes,
for them
lots of unsolved problems.
There's unsolved problems, right, in the design, so they don't work, in our opinion.
So yeah, maybe we have someone listening who has no clue what we're talking about. So just to present our sort of opinion here. So PvPvE games, look at something like Escape from Tarkov or the newer Arc Raiders. I don't know how Marathon works exactly. I haven't actually looked at that game. Whatever. But essentially, you have this world where there's a bunch of loot, and you're put into the world at a random place, and your job is to grab the loot and get out. But there's a problem. There are NPC enemies that are patrolling the world, and they're gonna kill you if they find you, and you need to kill them.
Well, unless
but there's another
problem,
problem.
and developers just not put any players in the game because you don't want them there.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess sorry, we can get there later.
Yeah. So, but there's another problem besides the NPCs, and that's there's also players running around the world doing the same thing as you. They're looking for the loot, right?
Yeah.
And so I guess the what do you want to call them? Proponents of this genre would say that it's it creates very tense gameplay, right? So it's I go into the epic zone with my gear, and I need to be very careful and make sure I extract without dying, because otherwise I lose all my gear, and that's super exciting and stuff.
And to be fair or clear or whatever, it does probably do that. I can see that part of it. It's just that if you zoom out and look at everything together, it just doesn't hold together for me, at least.
Yeah.
And so that removes the pressure in a way, right? Because, you keep going, yeah.
Yeah. So, what was I talking about?
The pressure.
Yeah. So, right. So essentially, you can lose all your gear, right? And that's super exciting because what if you see another player, right? This is the second thing that's exciting about extraction shooters, which is that when you see another player, you don't know if they're friendly or enemy.
Yeah.
And so maybe you can communicate with the other player, and you guys can help each other out, and that's a cute moment, and it's a bit of fun. Or the other guy is a total asshole, and he'll just kill you and loot you, and maybe even you could be friends for a while, and then the other guy could betray you and shoot you in the back. Oh my god, and you know, stuff like that. So like, as you said, Edward, I think that there is truth to this, that it's like, it's very tense, exciting gameplay, you know, because there's so many unknown factors, and there's like a social betrayal element, you know, Among Us style going on there as well. The problem...
Yeah,
go
so
ahead.
before you go there, actually, so I guess I don't know how we like what the rules are for what is PvPVE or not, but one game that I played a lot back in the day was DayZ, right? Which is sort of this kind of game, right? Where you have players and you have loot and stuff, right? Would you say it's similar? Yeah. And so to touch on your point there, right? That dynamic with the players is really interesting, as in, you know, like, oh, is this person gonna shoot me or not, or whatever, right? The problem that how should I say, it's like the thing is, so like, what I remember from that, right, was that it was like that at first, right? It was really interesting. It was like people were trying to help each other and blah blah blah, right? But as you played, people figured out the game, right? And then people just shot at each other, right?
Yeah, all the time.
So that's also like one of the things I feel like is unsolved. I mean, they have solved it with having teams, I guess, but that's not the same to me, right?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that solves it, right? Because the only difference is that, you know, you're 3 people being betrayed instead of 1.
Yeah. Well, it's not even betrayal anymore, is my point. Like, it's
I guess.
You're just fighting.
Yeah.
It's just a fight, right? So you don't have that dynamic at all, right? The sort of like, I don't know what, like Hunger Game mechanic or whatever you want to call it, right? It's like, you know, like the book or whatever, right? Where it's like, I mean, I guess these are kind of from that, right? It's from the like, no, I guess it's from the Battle Royale stuff, where you get what I'm saying, right? Where it's like, there is not enough incentives, so like, it would be interesting if there was, like, if the game was maybe like the environment was so brutal that literally no one could win if you didn't work together or something, right?
Yeah.
But it's not like that. It's very manageable, which means that people are just killing each other, right?
Yeah,
there's
no
interesting dynamic between people, is my point.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I've never thought of that, because I was gonna say that, like, my main problem is that once you know the game, sort of as you said, once you know the game, it's like, you can just do everything alone. It doesn't matter, because...
And you should, like, there is...
it's like
there's no benefits to helping other people out, because you just get less loot.
But that's like a really good point. Like, if they made the AI super, super dangerous...
Yeah, or like maybe like nature, like there's like strong winds, or I don't know.
The like, environmental dangers or whatever. But yeah.
Big monsters, I don't know.
Yeah, I think actually that's like... Now that you've said that, I changed my mind. I love extraction shooters. Someone should make... No, just kidding. But like, yeah, I see what you're saying. It's there's potential there. But yeah, I wanted to talk about the economy part of it as well.
Yeah.
Because I think that's another sort of unsolved problem. So, for those of you that have like heard of Tarkov or played Tarkov,
before you go there, right? To clarify, because there's like different, like we're blending a lot of stuff here, right? So you have the like DayZ style, which is like you're in the world and you have your loot and you log in and you have the loot there and you're just in the world all the time and that's the loot you have, right? Then you have the Battle Royale style, right? Which is, there is no I mean, there's garbage progression systems like in all games where you grind like battle passes and stuff, but there's no kept loot, right? It's you drop down, and the loot you get is to win that round, right?
Yeah.
And I think that for me that works best, but
yes,
you could probably do the third one well as well, maybe in some way, which is you keep your loot, right, between rounds, and that's sort of the one you're talking about now, right, with the economy stuff, where it's like, yeah, you go ahead. I just wanted to, so we're not like messing, So they're not all in the same.
So we don't get a bunch of angry comments.
Well, no. So like people understand that like.
Yeah.
What do you like? What do you mean that like Apex Legends has economy in the like?
Yeah.
Or what? I mean, what?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, so like I'm talking specifically about extraction shooters, as you said. So like you go in with your loot and then you go out with the loot that you managed to get in the mission.
Yeah.
And this suffers from sort of a similar problem to the AI thing, where like as you get better at the game, it matters less. Which is that as you get better at the game, you get more loot, which makes the loot that you get matter less, right? So it's like that's sort of why Tarkov and probably a bunch of other extraction shooters do wipes every now and then, right? Because if you play the game a lot, you're gonna end up with an inventory full of all the best gear, because like you've played a lot and you're probably good at the game, so you know your way around it, and all of that stuff. And so what ends up happening is that all of a sudden the sort of the sort of tense thing that comes from like, oh shit, I need to save my loot, or I need to make sure I get out of here so that I can keep my loot and stuff, and so that I don't lose anything. Like you lose all of that completely because you have so much loot that it doesn't matter. And so it becomes more of like a dumb PvP game where you're just like running around and shooting guys, because like the loot doesn't really matter anymore because you have everything you need, right? Yeah. Which, as I said, it's another one of these unsolved problems where it's like I think it could be done, but I haven't seen an extraction shooter that does it yet. Except Tarkov.
Yeah, I don't know if it's actually like, for me, like the more I think about it, it sort of touches on issues we talked about when we talked. Remember the episode we did on save files, where we talked about like intrinsic versus extrinsic rewards and stuff like that, right? And this, I think, this sort of, for me, this sort of progression system, like it touches on the extrinsic, right? So it's actually like, maybe you could make it interesting, but is it really if you think about it, like, is it really interesting that one of the players has more loot than the other player when you enter the game? I don't know.
I don't think that's the interesting part. I think the interesting part is that if I die, I lose my loot. But the problem is that once you have too much loot, you completely lose that interesting part of it. Right? So it's like, because when you're new in Tarkov, for example, you need to be very careful. You're like, okay, if I found a really good weapon last mission. Do I bring this to this mission? Because, it's going to help me win. But if I die, I lose it and I don't have the good weapon anymore. And, stuff like that. There's a bunch of like interesting things to consider there.
Yes.
But, just as with the previous stuff we talked about, the problem is that the more you play the game, the less that starts to matter. And the more it becomes just like a generic shooter, basically.
But can you solve that? Because you need,
I don't know.
That's sort of a single player structure, right, or whatever, right? Where you get more stuff as you play more.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I see what you're saying actually. I don't know if. I think for me the one, like the ones that. Where the progress is within the round is more interesting for me personally, right?
Yeah, I agree.
But I can see that maybe being interesting in that way.
Yeah, like I think, like I totally get why people like it. I just think that the problems, the problem with the fact that the more you play, the less it matters, kind of.
Is it really good? Like, okay, sorry to be the negative one here, right? But it's like. The more I think about it, it's still like, it becomes this gambling thing, right? Sort of. It's like, you get like dopamine from like, I have all this good loot, and then you lose it all, and it becomes this not so healthy feedback loop, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know.
But like, what I'm saying more is that like I understand why people find that exciting and why people enjoy these kinds of games. Yeah. Like I personally don't enjoy them. That's why I don't play them. But like I see that there's something interesting there, like psychologically or whatever you want to call it, because it's like you need to be careful with your loot because you might lose it, or
I'm thinking if you could capture that part without the
without the progression carrying over.
Yeah, or maybe it can carry, but like because it becomes a grind, sort of, right? Where it's like it's very similar. Like if I want to if I should speaking, sorry, if I'm trying to compare it to something, the closest thing I can think of is ranked in competitive games. Because if you win, you gain rank. If you lose rank, right? And well, right? Yeah. And I don't know if I think that I don't think that feedback loop is very healthy. Maybe I don't know.
So if I understand this correctly, you're basically saying that like extraction shooters purely rely on extrinsic reward rather than intrinsic rewards. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Well, they have. I'm sure they have very like interesting dynamics other than that, but the reward part maybe.
Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying, because like if you like I don't know how to like explain this well, perhaps maybe, but like yeah, because if you remove the like, oh no, I'm gonna lose my gear tension stuff, and you remove the, well, I guess the social aspect is still there.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, that's probably, so yeah, I think the like gear stuff, that's like maybe an unsolvable problem due to the fact that it's just like purely extrinsic. But I do think that you can make an extraction shooter like game where you keep the social element, where it's like, oh shit, we need to work together, or like I see a guy but I don't know if I can trust him or not, and like maybe he helps me, maybe I help him, maybe he kills me, stuff like that. Like you could make a game with that without all the progression stuff.
Yeah, but
I
like,
don't think
like again, if we compare it to like what do a lot of games do with rank, for example, to mitigate the fact that people grind the rank and get to the max rank or whatever, right? They have seasons and stuff. And so then you'll have a season, right? And then the rank will be reset and they'll have to grind the rank again, right? And if you look at these extraction shooters, that's exactly what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
They're wiping your gear so you can grind again. And I'm not saying that those loops are not like addicting, right? I'm just saying that I'm specifying that, right? They are addicting, and I don't know if I like that, right?
Yeah, no, I agree.
But there is a lot of more nuance in an extraction shooter for sure. And to be clear, this does not apply at all to like battle royales and stuff like that, right? Because they don't have that element, right? I mean, some of them maybe do, but
I mean, they have battle passes and seasons and stuff.
Yeah, those are just as bad. So
yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know why I wanted to go there, but I wanted to go there too for some reason, right? Clarify that.
Yeah. No, I kind of get what you're saying.
Because like the interesting stuff we talk about, right? Where it's like, oh, you need the dynamic of working together and like stuff. You can have all of that in the round, right? And like finding good gear. Like the thing, I don't play enough extraction shooters to be honest, because I don't like them. But you extract, right? So like there is not there can be multiple winners in an extraction shooter, right?
Yeah.
Because you just leave with your stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I think I don't like them. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't. It was a really long time ago I played that game. I don't know if you played the game, Hunt Showdown.
Yeah, I don't remember. But I know,
that has like objectives in the mission. I don't remember exactly how it worked. Maybe that's more interesting, but basically there's like a big boss monster that you need to kill.
Yeah, stuff like that is cool. For sure.
And then there's like the interesting dynamic of like, well, if you go to kill the boss monster, one of the other players might swoop in and claim the stuff afterwards and stuff like that. And so you need to be careful about that. But I don't think it actually solves the problem. Like, because at the end of the day, you can still, I think you can still like grind even if you don't get the boss. You can still like grind stuff to get more gear.
Yeah.
I played that really long ago. I don't remember much, but yeah.
I mean, to be clear, I don't like meta progression in general, right? So
yeah.
I don't want any of it. So like I understand that there is some like there's a, what do you call it, like a scale of like what levels of meta progression people can tolerate versus not, right? And I'm just far in that direction. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. If you would allow me, I would like to make a quick tangent to Battle Royales, which we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So I have played like one match of Fortnite in my life.
Same, I think.
And yeah. And I didn't enjoy it too much. But then Apex Legends came out. And I remember I did play that a little bit when it came out. And I was like, this game is kind of meh. It's playable, but like I don't find it very enjoyable or whatever. So I like played for like 10, 20 hours and then I stopped. But then like a few years later, after Apex Legends came out, one of my friends was like, yeah, do you want to play Apex Legends with me? I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And so I like downloaded it again. And we played a little bit more. And what I realized was that, or well, because the problem I had with Battle Royales is that it's sort of a free-for-all, right? Where it's like, there's like 50 billion teams and, only one wins.
There's 50 billion teams, actually.
No, that's true. But like, I don't remember how many there are.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it's like, it's the typical problem when you have more than 2 teams. It's like, yeah, most likely the best team is gonna win, but there could be a bunch of like social interaction stuff where it's like, oh well, the 2 bad teams ganged up on the good team, so they lost and stuff like that. And I'm not a fan of that.
Shot each other down.
Yeah, exactly, stuff like that.
Yeah, no, like I don't know, maybe people are more advanced in their strategies these days, but like I remember from back in the day, like the optimal strat is like ring hugging or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You like stay as far away from any encounter as possible and try to get as much loot as possible.
Yes.
And
so
even in like
that's
tournaments,
sort of,
to be clear, like tournament people did that. I don't know if people have got better or like do different things these days, but
yeah. But yeah, so that was sort of my initial impression when I played Battle Royales. So I was like, I didn't really get why people enjoy them so much. But then I played Apex Legends again, as I said, and I sort of realized that Battle Royales are basically gambling, right? So if we go back to what I said about like obviously there are skill elements in Battle Royales, and if you're good at Battle Royales, you're gonna win way more than if you're bad at Battle Royales, and so on and so on. But there are still these like sort of not literally random, but like, it's like, okay, what if I drop down into the zone and the first team I meet is a really, really good team? Versus what if the first team I meet is a really, really bad team? I'm obviously gonna have an easier time if I meet a bad team and stuff like that. And so what ends up happening is that since there are like so many factors that aren't like the player's skill, it sort of removes the responsibility of losing from the player. Right? Do you kind of get what I'm saying? Where it's like, I lost, like, obviously, how do you say this? Like, the player perceives that they lost because of random things, which makes it way easier for them to handle losing compared to something like Counter-Strike, where it's like, it's very obvious that my team lost because we were worse. Or something like
you
that.
Can just blame your teammates. I would go.
That is also
I would
true.
take the better argument is like a fighting game, right? Where it's like
or like an RTS.
You can't RTS like a 1v1 game, right? Where it's like it's your fault. It's your fault. You suck.
Yeah. So it's like, that's the first thing, right? So it's way easier to rationalize losing because it's not completely in your control, right?
Yeah,
What were you gonna
I
say?
was gonna say that if we you it's not inherently a problem, I think, with battle royals what you're describing, because like for example, if you did like what we talked about earlier or something similar, right? The problem is that the game there's too much downtime in the game, right?
Yeah.
Like if you made a battle royale where the map was like a nuke town from Call of Duty or something, then it's skill based again, right? Because it's then I shouldn't say
I mean,
it's
not
skill
completely,
based, but
right? Because you still have the problem of like, what if the bad players gang up on you or something like that, or the bad
well, you
players
can
gang up
argue
on the good.
that like if we have the
Yeah,
really
sure.
cool
It's
version with like
mhm,
natural disaster environment stuff, right? Then it's like social skill or whatever. You
yeah,
have to
true.
convince people to. So I would argue that that's not necessarily
Yeah,
the
okay. I kind of
fault
get what
of
you're
battle
saying. Yeah.
royales.
Mm-hmm.
Or sorry, it's the fault of the like current games, right? Where they
Yeah.
have really big maps where probably like 50%, if not more, probably more, I'm being
It's just
generous here,
empty.
yeah, is
Yeah.
just walking around opening doors and chests, right?
Yeah.
And if you know, considering what games are popular these days, it does kind of make sense to me why people like a game where most of the time you're just having this, you know, slight sense of like danger, and but all you're doing is opening loot boxes, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I see why that is popular.
That's kind of a good way to describe them.
Yeah. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
tell you as someone that I also played Apex Legends, and I played it with some friends that are just like really, really good at first person
Mm-hmm.
shooters. And I can tell you it's the most boring thing in the universe, because
Yeah.
it's like I'm opening a couple of chests and then like they've killed all the other teams and like won the game.
Mm-hmm.
while I'm like not even, you know, doing
Yeah.
anything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. And then you
Well,
do
yes.
that over again. Yeah. Being a
Yes.
bit negative again, sorry.
That's good that you said that, and then you do it all over again, because
Yeah.
like that's my sort of second point with the whole battle royals or like gambling thing. So like the thing is that when you lose, because I noticed this when I played Apex Legends, because like I sort of started feeling like in my brain, slowly but surely, like I was feeling like, oh shit, I'm getting addicted to this game, because what ended up happening was that whenever we lost, we were like, oh well, that time we just lost because of good luck, so we'll just like play again and then we'll win, right?
Bad luck, yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, bad luck, yeah. And then like that kept happening over and over and over and over and over again, and like we kept playing and we kept playing and we kept playing, and then, you know, sometimes we won, and then we were like, holy crap, we won, we gotta play again, that was so much fun.
Yeah.
And then we lost, and we were like, oh, but they were so close, we'll do it one more time. And I like kept going, and I started realizing that like, holy shit, this is like gambling to me, right? It's like I'm basically just pulling the slot machine, and I see, oh shit, you know, the almost 3 red cherries, holy crap, I need to pull again, I'm gonna get 3 this time. And then like when I do it, I'm like, yes, now I need to keep pulling because I need to make more money, you know, all of that. I started feeling that feeling, and so like when I realized that, I like instantly uninstalled the game, because I was like, okay, yeah, this is gambling, I'm not gonna play this.
Yeah.
But my point is that I understand why battle royales are popular now, because they like evoke the same feeling of, you know, the same feelings that gambling do, without like the actual money part.
Yeah.
Which is,
and I don't think, to be very clear, I don't think that's inherently an issue with the genre. I think you could make an in my opinion, right, interesting battle royale. I think the current ones are very uninteresting.
Yeah.
And they're very focused on this, like you said, a lot of downtime, right? Make sure the map is really big, and put a lot of loot everywhere, and you know, so the game drags a bit, and so you can feel like you're being there and not just dying all the time, right? Even though even if you're bad, right? And then what a lot of them do these days as well is sprinkle some bots here and there. So it's like, oh look, here's this bot encounter, so you get some extra.
So you get to shoot some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's why battle royales are bad. No, but like, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah.
Talking about, or did you want to say something?
No, yeah, we'll touch on it with the other topics as well. So.
Yeah, so I was gonna move on actually, because you mentioned something there with the NPCs. And I think it's worth to clarify, because some people might get the impression that like we're super against NPCs of any kind in multiplayer games. And that's not the case, to clarify. And a perfect example of that is, in the MOBAs, for example, where you have creeps, and you farm the creeps to like get money and stuff, and you buy loot and whatever. But like so it's not necessarily the fact that there's bots to kill that's bad. It's like when the purpose of the bots is to like, what do you want to call it, like waste your time, or like make it feel like you're playing when you aren't really playing the game. That's the problem.
I just realized something, by the way, and you're probably not gonna agree, but like if the economy of a battle royale game worked like in a MOBA, I mean not exactly, but like because there's like, so I understand that maybe some people look at MOBAs and think that, oh, you're just grinding or whatever, right, to get loot and then you win the game. But there's a lot of skill involved in map control and stuff, right? So if battle royales had more of that, I mean, there is some of it, right? You need to know where you're gonna land and stuff, right? Maybe that's too far from the genre for you. I don't know.
Maybe like I'd have to. Do you have like a specific example?
I was just thinking like there is like the specifics should not be like MOBAs. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that if you look at MOBAs, you can see how you can, because MOBAs has an economy, right? And a battle royale needs to have an economy. Right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
But the problem is that the economy is very shallow, in my opinion, right? Because it's just...
Oh! Yes, that just reminded me, actually. Because that's also one of the reasons that I didn't like Apex Legends. I don't know if Fortnite does this. I was under the impression that it didn't, but it might do it now.
I don't know.
So, because one of the things that I was really disappointed with Apex Legends was that the loot was randomized. Or sorry, the loot tier was randomized, I should say.
Okay.
And so like in the big Apex Legends map, you have areas. So you have like the big town, you have the small town, you have the weird farmhouse or whatever, I don't remember. And like they are like areas, and those areas have like a loot tier. It's like this area will have legendary loot, and this area will have common loot, and this will have epic loot, and so on. And the thing that really annoyed me was that was randomized every round. And so when you dropped, you never knew like if you were dropping into a legendary loot area or a common loot area, because it was randomized. Which like exactly. So it's like it's literally completely random where you drop, because you have no clue if you're gonna get good gear or not. Because like it would be so much more interesting, because I think PUBG does this. Don't quote me, but I think PUBG does this, and this is how I assumed most battle royales did it, because it's way more interesting. And that is that certain areas have better loot, which incentivizes dropping there, which makes those like areas hotspots for combat. Which means that maybe there's actually a good reason to not go to those areas, because you can get by on worse loot by not taking the risk of being in combat all the time. But like and so on and so on. But like Apex Legends doesn't have that at all, because like you could drop to an area where like no one else was, and if you were lucky, that's a legendary loot area, and you have a really easy time.
That sounds actually terrible. I didn't know that.
So what ends up happening when you're playing Apex Legends is that when everyone's dropping, everyone's just trying to spread out as much as possible, because there's no point in like being where other people are, because you just the thing you said about a lot of downtime and hugging the edge of the ring and stuff like that. That's even worse in Apex, because there's like no incentive to fight for the good loot, because you don't know where the good loot is, right?
Very nice.
So yeah, that's really uninteresting.
Yeah. I guess MOBAs, like, I played a lot of MOBAs, like back in the day, right? Especially Dota. I think they are not without their flaws. I think they also suffer a bit from this, actually, a little bit. Just they are, well, at least for me. I mean, they are more interesting, but like the economy is still like, you could tighten the gameplay loop, I guess, is my point, in a MOBA as well, right? Yeah, and it's not necessarily making the game shorter, although that would probably help a little bit. But yeah. Yeah, because the sort of interesting thing there is that whether you win or lose the map control, right? It's not that you do it for a long amount of time. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe someone that plays the MOBA will disagree.
No, well, I think, like, I haven't played that many MOBAs because I don't think there are any MOBAs that are good enough to play. Yeah. But I do think that the concept of a MOBA is super, super interesting because essentially what ends up happening is that it's like, you know, at least in the lane, like obviously there's like a bunch of high level map control with the entire team and stuff like that. But the part that I find really interesting is that, you know, in the lane, you essentially have an arms race, right? Yes, so it's like both players on the opposite teams are competing to become more powerful than the other player. And they're like trying to fuck over the other player at the same time. And like at the same time, they're also trying to push the tower to like make progress on the objective. And so like there's a bunch of interesting dynamics there where it's like, one guy is getting more powerful, then the other guy is getting more powerful, and then maybe one guy overextends, and maybe he escapes, maybe he doesn't, and you know, if he doesn't escape, then the other player can capitalize on this, and you know, there's a bunch of interesting interactions going on there.
Yeah, and you also, this is sort of one of the reasons why I like Dota more. I mean, League of Legends players are probably gonna say that I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. Which is that the like the counter, how should I say this? Like the effectiveness of certain heroes against others in Dota is extreme, right? It can be like if you play a certain hero and you're up against a certain other hero, you can literally not do anything. So you will win your lane in quotation marks by just not dying 15 times, right? Because if it's like a drafted game, you're then hoping that the other lanes can, you know, win on the fact that you didn't lose too hard, because hopefully they have a lineup that's better against their lane or whatever. So there's a lot of interesting dynamics with that as well. And then you have the like time aspect as well, right, where it's like certain characters are better early versus late game and stuff like that. And so that's the sort of thing where I was trying to compare it to Battle Royale, right? Whereas like Battle Royale doesn't have a lot of those dynamics, right? It's more like you said, you especially with that Apex, that sounded terrible. Actually, I did not know that. Like, so you're saying that game is literally skillless, is what you're saying?
Yes, essentially.
Like
like there's no strategy. You're just.
I mean, if it's RNG, what gear you like? I mean, not what, but like the tier of
the rarity.
Yeah, there is literally no like. What are you gonna? That sounds stupid. I'm sorry, but yeah.
Maybe like I haven't played it in a few years, so maybe they should.
I mean, when I played it, it was like to me because that's like, okay, why would I ever even try to get good at that game?
But that sort of like, what do you want to say? Like, that's another aspect of like the gambling thing, right? It's like they aren't even trying to make the player be able to strategize, right? They just want it to be random, so that it's like.
I mean, it ties into like what we wanted to talk about more in general today, right? Which is that a lot of these PvP games are not really PvP games. They're like, and we've talked about this before, right? All it's like this. It feels like to me that most modern games just wants to be MMOs, or like live service games, I should say, right?
Yeah.
That can drip feed you, grind garbage, and make you pay monthly for stuff, right? And these games are just choosing to do this with a PvP aesthetic, right?
Yeah.
That's a very mean thing to say, but that's how I feel about it.
But it's true.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at...
But not the... again, want to clarify, it's not the genre, right? It's the games, right? Because I think, like you said, even the fact that... now that you say that, I'm realizing that PUBG is probably a lot better than Apex Legends. I didn't think about that before, right? In that way, but it's probably a lot better, right? With that loot thing and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I might be completely wrong, but I recall, because it was so long ago I played PUBG, but I do recall that like there were certain areas that you wanted to drop in because the loot was better, but maybe I'm wrong. But like even if PUBG is not better, like PUBG should implement that because that's way more interesting.
Yeah.
And Apex Legends, of course. But there was one thing I wanted to mention also, going back to extraction shooters, which we have discussed in a previous episode, but I do think it's worth bringing up again. And that is Arc Raiders, the fantastic game. You probably already know what I'm gonna say because it's so funny.
Yeah. I mean, it's not funny, it's tragic.
No, yes. So, what did they call it again? So,
Garbage.
Arc Raiders has aggression-based matchmaking,
Garbage
I think
matchmaking,
they call it.
I think it's
Yes.
called garbage matchmaking.
And so, what ends up happening is that if you are a less aggressive player, like if you are a player who generally is peaceful and like you help people and you don't kill people, you know, in an extraction shooter, then you are more likely to be put with players who are more peaceful. And if you are more aggressive, if you just kill people all the time, you are more likely to be put in a lobby with aggressive people who just kill people all the time.
Remember what I said about aesthetics before? Yeah.
Yes, that's why I brought it up, because like that's another point to the whole like it's just a grind fest and there's no actual gameplay.
Yeah.
Because you know, we mentioned in the beginning of the episode, like, oh, well, one of the fun parts about extraction shooters is that there's this social element where you don't know what the player is gonna do.
Yeah.
Well, with aggression-based matchmaking, you do, because if you play aggressively, you know that everyone is gonna be aggressive, and so you just shoot everyone on sight, because that's what you do, and so you're put with players who do it like you. And then, you know, if you're a peaceful player, you know that you can trust basically everyone, because you're peaceful and you get put in the lobby with peaceful people. And obviously the argument is that players who are peaceful get frustrated when they get betrayed by someone who pretended to be peaceful but they were actually mean or something like that. But that's literally the gameplay.
Yeah, that's good.
Like,
that's a good part.
Yes, that is why, you know, that's why the extraction shooter is exciting, because you don't know if he's gonna betray you or not. Yeah, so it's like super fun.
You know, maybe like thinking about that, maybe like Among Us is like the evolved version of Battle Royales.
Yeah.
Like the good version.
Maybe. Yeah.
I haven't played Among Us, but
the problem with Among Us, tangent into Among Us here, it's not related to this topic at all. I've played Among Us.
Yeah.
And the problem I have with Among Us is that it's basically what's the game called? Like, there's a bunch of names for it. I think the Americans call it Werewolf. In Sweden we call it Mafia. But it's like, you know, the social deduction game where like someone is the killer and they kill someone and so on and so on. The problem with Among Us is that there's like there's a gameplay element to it, right? So it's like you're walking around and actually killing stuff.
Yeah.
Or like actually killing people. And the problem I have with that is that it's sort of it's this genre blend thing that we talked about with Total War in the holistic design video, where it's like it's actually more interesting if there's not like a skill-based gameplay element where you're like the killer trying to kill people secretly, because what ends up happening is that, you know, if someone sees you do it, like that sort of, now I'm explaining this poorly, but like the skill element detracts from the social element, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if you're bad at being a killer, then it's very obvious that you're the killer, and so like there's no social deduction going on, because it's like this guy just made it so obvious, so like everybody's got to vote for him and he's the killer and he's out. Whereas like if you only have the social deduction thing, then it like there's still like a skill element for the killer, right? Because they need to kill the right people, you know, socially speaking. But like there's nothing in the way of like the social deduction thing.
Yeah.
I maybe I explained that poorly, but I think you get
think
what I
I
mean.
get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like because there is a gameplay skill element that like takes away from Among Us. But otherwise, you know, the Among Us social deduction style of game can be fun.
So you're saying Town of Salem is a better game than Among Us?
Yes, exactly. That's sort of my point. Because like, have you ever played Trouble in Terrorist Town?
No,
This
no.
is an obscure reference.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like
I know what it is.
probably in a bunch of Source games, but
Yes.
I remember playing it in Gmod.
Yeah.
And it's like there's like killers and they're running around and stuff. And that game was no social deduction, so it's like
The opposite.
yeah. So it's like it's the opposite of Town of Salem. That's like there you have like the killers actually have to be good at killing, and like if they do it poorly, then they will be detected by the detectives and so on. And so like Among Us ends up being a merge of Town of Salem and Trouble in Terrorist Town, which like kind of ruins both of them.
I see.
In my
That's
opinion.
interesting. I've never reflected on Among Us like that.
I have.
But, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to multiplayer. Well, Among Us is a multiplayer game, but going away from Among Us for a while, there is one more thing I wanted to mention, which is in relation to this Arc Raiders aggression-based matchmaking.
Fun
you know,
stuff.
depressing. What the fuck are they doing? Stuff. And that is what I like to call Battlefront 2 style fake players. Now I'm sure Battlefront 2 is not the first game that did this, but Battlefront 2 is the first game, like the new DICE Battlefront 2.
Remember the thing I said about aesthetics?
Yes.
Yeah, we're back there again.
Yeah. So I'm talking about the newer now, because they're a few years old now, but the Battlefront 2 made by DICE.
Yeah.
The remake, or whatever you want to call it.
I mean, all games have it these days, I think.
Yes,
Like,
yes,
all
but that's
Battle
the
Royale
first game
games.
where I
think
like...
Fortnite has it as well.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, and the new Battlefield does. I think the new Call of Duty does.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to
Anyways,
hide it less though.
Yes.
These days.
Well, are they?
A little bit. Like it's in.
Okay.
They're putting it in like a mode and stuff. I think some of the devs are even I remember when they started doing it. I don't remember what game, but I remember back then it was like they were not even like they were just putting bots in games, right?
Yeah.
So they would
Well,
like 25% of the players were bots and no one would know, right?
Yeah.
So they would trick the players, right, into thinking that they were playing against players, but instead they were playing against garbage bots, right? They're like intentionally bad bots, so they would feel better and spend more money.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that got a little bit better because these days it's like, I think Battlefield, for example, it's like a separate game mode where it's like...
That's true. It's like Casual Conquest or whatever it's called. Yeah.
Which is
still
Battlefront. Whatever.
Yeah, Battlefront 2 was the first game where I where I noticed this, and that is that, you know, essentially they have fake players. So it's like on the scoreboard you see them, and like in the server they look like a player, but they are very obviously a bot because they have like a weird suspicious name that's super generic. And when you see them walking around, it's like super obvious that it's a bot, and they're super easy to kill and so on. And you know, once again, going back to the whole Arc Raiders aggression-based matchmaking thing, the argument here is that, you know, well, it's for the players who are bad at the game so that they can still have fun by killing the bots, right? That are the stupid bots. And well, yeah, the problem with that is that you're lying to the player, right?
Yes.
It's like...
Lying is bad. I don't know if you knew that. You shouldn't lie.
It's sort of in the same vein as Sid Meier'ing your RNG.
Sid Meier'ing your RNG, yeah.
Yes.
What if you do both?
Yeah, because... Oh, shit. Sid Meier'ing your bots. That's the new terminology for it. It's not Battlefront 2 style fake players, it's Sid Meier style bots.
Yeah, what if you like randomize the names so that you give the bot names to the players, so you think you're dying to a bot, and then the bot is yeah, it doesn't make a difference. I'm sorry. Keep going.
No. But yeah, it's just trash because like
I'm not
like, I mean, Battlefront 2 is a really bad game anyways. Like, a lot of people seem to say that, you know...
I mean, and don't forget when that came out, it was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Wasn't that
it was like super pay to win.
Pride and accomplishment game? I guess that was the first one.
It was.
But
no, it was
the second one. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think the first one was like somewhat successful, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And then the second one flopped because it was so pay to win, and there was like upgrade cards and stuff like that. Yeah. And like they removed that after a while.
Yeah, no, they tweaked it. They did not remove it. It's still there.
Yeah, no, they removed the pay to win stuff.
Yeah, but the cards.
They made it so that you can. Yeah, exactly. That's sort of what I was gonna say. So like, they removed the pay to win stuff, and then I remember back then I had like a few friends who started playing it because they removed it, and they were like, "Oh, Battlefront 2 is good now." Yeah. And then I played it. And like the first thing I noticed was like, okay, there's fake bots in here. Everywhere. And the second thing I noticed is, well, there's a guy who like had grinded for 50 hours, so now he had the good cards, which gave him like literally double damage. It's like
it's good now,
completely stupid. That's not true. But yeah, going back to the fake players, it's just bad, and I feel like, as you said, it's sort of related to the whole. Well, the game is just a skin for the progression system. Because obviously the designers who come up with these things aren't actually interested in making interesting gameplay. They just want the player to feel good, and they want them to be engaged in the system, or whatever you want to call it. So that they pay you a bunch of money and they waste their life playing Battlefront 2 against fake bots.
And to be clear, because I don't know why I want to be clear all the time, because I could just ignore everyone and just... You know, because it doesn't matter, because the people that actually, you know, care actually understand. The bots are obviously great, right? It's just not in that context, right? Having a bot, like being able to set up like a Counter-Strike game against bots or whatever to practice stuff is amazing, right? That's super nice. It's just like shoving random bots into your multiplayer game as players, right?
Yeah.
And also
it's
like
the deception.
Yeah, and lying as well. But like, so I just want to make a, like we talked about MOBAs before. There, another great example of this is Titanfall, right? So by our logic here, one would think that, what is Titanfall bots bad? Well, no, because Titanfall bots are actually like they're creeps or minions, right, from MOBAs. Titanfall is a MOBA. Like, that's literally farm so you can get your Titan. Yeah, and they're not trying to hide that. That's literally how that game works, right? This is more like, no, it's like a player on the scoreboard, but it's a bot. Yeah,
exactly.
Right? And they're not trying to, like, they're trying to be deceptive about it, right? To make you think that you're better than you are, right? So that you will spend more money. That's the bad part. It's not that there's bots. I mean, obviously, it's fine to play against bots if you want to, and whatever,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have any other subject that you're...
I mean, we wanted to talk about games that had more than 2 teams. I guess we could do that for 2 minutes or something.
Yes.
Yeah. So the finals is garbage.
Yes, we've talked about this game before, the finals. So for those of you that haven't played it, it's a 3v3 maybe. I don't know how many teams there are.
3 teams.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So there's
3
teams.
I don't think there's 4 teams.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But anyways, this format is like super uninteresting.
Yep.
And it goes back to, you know, what I said when I spoke about Battle Royales. The social aspect of like, well, what if the bad teams gang up on the good team, and so on and so on. But there's also like, in the finals in particular, the finals is such a bad game. It's insane.
Which is unfortunate, by the way, because it's like one of the very few games that look kind of good and run kind of decently.
Yeah.
Because...
like, it's well made.
Yeah, like technically it's actually really well made. But the designers,
they must have smoked something when they made that game, because holy crap, it's bad. So like... The thing that I find interesting, and I think I mentioned this when we talked about this game before, like in a previous episode, it's like, it's very obvious that they try to like make the game feel competitive. Like it's like
They failed.
the developers are very like, oh yeah, the finals is a competitive game, guys, trust us. But like everything in the design says that it isn't. So like first of all, there's 3 teams, and so already it's not competitive because like there's 3 teams and it's not 2 teams. And the social stuff that I mentioned. But then there's also the like game mode, which is completely stupid. So it's like you have these it's basically Rush from Battlefield, right? Where you have these consoles that you like need to activate, and then you need to like stop the other teams from diffusing them or whatever. But instead of diffusing them, what ends up happening is that the other teams take them over. And so what ends up happening in a usual game of the finals is that there's one team who gets the objective, they activate the objective, then another team comes up and starts fighting for the objective, and then the third team just sits and waits while those 2 teams kill each other, and then they swoop in and take the objective. Now, they make this even worse by making it so that the timer on the objective doesn't reset when you take it over from another team. So like, if you swoop in and take the objective in the last 10 seconds...
that's the only thing that matters.
Yeah, that's the only thing that matters. Because like literally everything that happened previously in the round does not matter. Because you took it in the last 10 seconds and there's only 10 seconds left and no one can take it now. And so like, that game is hilariously bad.
But it looks pretty and runs well.
Yes, it does. Which, you know,
I mean,
is
I don't
pretty
like
funny considering...
to clarify, I don't like the theme.
No,
the theme is super lame, but point. Like just graphically, if you're one of those like graphics people, I guess.
And the destruction.
Like the smoke and the destruction and like
Or doesn't it? Did I say the destruction looks bad? I mean, it looks good.
All of that stuff looks really nice.
But and funnily enough, I just realized like the finals is also made by the same guys who made Ark Raiders. So like the aggression-based matchmaking makes sense now. I didn't even think of that until now.
That makes so much sense. So unfortunate because like they have some of their like nice technical people from like DICE, right? Because it's Embark, right? For those that don't know,
apparently not the good designers.
Is like a studio based like it's like ex-DICE people, the Battlefield studio, right? So and you can like see that on like the technical stuff. If you go back and look at like Battlefield Bad Company and Battlefield 3, right? And how like, you know, there was like a lot of destruction and cool stuff going on, right? And that is like, I mean, they still have a little bit of that, but it's basically not there anymore in the newer ones. I mean, it is there, but like compared to like what the Embark is doing. But I guess they didn't bring the designers. I mean, not that they stayed at DICE either, because both of them are terrible designers. I guess the designers got a different job. Maybe they stopped making games. Or maybe they just never had any good designers. I don't know. But I mean, I feel like that's a bit mean to say. I think that they were pretty decent back in the day, right? I mean, it's not the best games.
I mean, obviously, like Battlefield is like a generic casual game or whatever. But for like a generic casual game, it was pretty good.
But I don't know what the designers are smoking these days. I mean, I know what they're smoking. They're smoking the grind, live service aesthetics bullshit game stuff.
They're smoking the Bungie weed.
The Bungie weed. Oh my god.
What did he say?
Train station.
It's not a train.
It's
a train station. Yeah. Exactly.
Fucking train station.
Best GDC talk ever.
Oh my god. I'm not linking that. I'm not linking that.
No, you shouldn't watch it. It's depressing.
Cool.
But
Yep.
I guess that's it from us for today. Thank you for listening as always. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like and a dislike and comment and all that.
You can't leave both a like and a dislike. You have to choose.
That's true. You have to choose.
Unless you have two accounts. You can leave a like on one of them and a dislike on the other one.
That's probably super good for the algorithm.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. But thanks for watching. And if you have something interesting to say, as I said, leave it in the comments.
And if you have any topics you want us to talk about, please leave them in the comments, because coming up with topics is hard, I guess.
Yes. But yeah, thank you everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.